Hey guys, I hope you guys are enjoying. In this video, I'm going to explain you about the variables and data types in C programming. If you haven't subscribed my channel, please do subscribe and I will drop the channel link in the description below. Please do share. In our previous video, we have already written our first hello program in C and the ID we have used is datatypes. If you haven't installed yet, I'll drop the video link in my description. Please do check and download and install the datatypes first. In our upcoming videos, we'll write our program in the latest Visual Studio Code, commonly known as VS Code. So let's get started. So let's create our first new file. Go to File, New and Source File here and click File, Save As. Here, rename the file name as variable and data types. Now we will include our libraries and write our main function. If you don't know how to write the main function, then please check our first video where we have explained how to write the first hello world program in C program. Now, first off, we have to write the libraries like include stdio.h. After that, main function, we have already seen that we can write like variables and data types in C program. Let's run this program. Oh, we forgot to just put one semicolon at the last. Don't forget to put that. Run this. Here we go. Here we have successfully printed the variables and data types in C program. To these we have learned in the last video. Let's see how to create the variables and how to write the data types. So firstly we will talk about the variables, the syntax of writing the variables and the importance of the variables. Then we will discuss about the data types. So in simple words, variables are used to store the integer values, decimal values, characters, sentences, words. Here the values are considered as data. Let me explain it. I will show you in my OneNote. Now the syntax to write the variables like this. First of all, you have to write the data type, one space, then you have to write the variable name. You can say the variable name, then ignore this, means write the variable, then you have to write the data or the value, data or the value. Here data type means types of data we are using here. Like if the data is 25, that means the data type will be integer. And if the data is 2.3 or 6.2 or 7.3, then the data type will be decimal. Now there is so many data types are there. Okay, like int, long, double. Let me explain you. Suppose here you can write a variable name anything like a or B or D, anything, or word like this. Variable name can be anything. Suppose our variable name is A. Then suppose we want to store a value in the variable. Suppose the value is 25 and we want to store the value into the variable. For this, we have to assign some data type into this variable so that the compiler can understand that what type of value we are inserting. Like if we are inserting 25, that means we are inserting a integer value. So the data type will be int. Okay, so many data types are there: int, float, long, character, double. Okay, and many more. So many data types are there. So if we are using 25, that means we are inserting an integer into this variable. So a data type will be assigned to this variable, that means int. After that, let me explain you if we are using 3.7, then suppose the variable name is C. Then what will be the float name? It's float. Okay, like this, I think. Yeah. Okay, so we're using 25 as integer, 3.7 as float. So if we're using a decimal number, then we have to use float. Float means where we are storing a decimal number in the variable. Then if we are using a character, character means suppose we are using character A. Okay, we have to write the character under inverted comma. Okay, then we have to write it as character. Suppose the variable name can be anything. Suppose the variable name is E. Okay, so like this we can write our data type variable value. Now let me explain one more thing. Like this, the value we are using, the value will be stored in this variable, and compiler first check whether the value we are inserting is same as the data type or not, and the compiler will check the type of the value we are inserting in the variable, whether it is same as that of the data type we are assigning in the variable or not. If it is not same, then the compiler will give some error that you are assigning a wrong data type into this variable. So make sure you are assigning a correct data type into this variable. Okay, let's jump to our code. In this program, first of all, data type means int. Okay, int. After that, what we have to write? Variable. Anything means a. After that, what we have to write? Suppose 25. Then comes to printf. Now, how you can print a variable? See, if you write a variable inside this inverted comma, then you won't get the perfect variable. Then you won't get the value of a. Then it will just print the a. See, it's next line. Let me just show you how to write the next line. See, inverted comma and backslash. In your keyboard there should be a backslash upon the enter key, backslash n. Then that means, let me comment it out. Double backslash means we are commenting a line. For next line we are using this. Okay, so now run this. You see the a is printed in the next line. Okay, here it is printed a, but we want the value of a. How you can do that? There is a process of doing that. Inside the inverted comma you have to write percentage d. Percentage d means you are just telling the compiler that I want the value of something. I want the value of variable. Okay, after that you just place a comma and then a. It means you are telling the compiler that I want the variable of a. Run this. See, we are getting the value of a. Okay, now you can do many operations under this. Suppose we are getting a. Now plus 1. Run this. We are getting 26. You write a plus 12. See, 25 plus 12, 37. We are getting 37. If you just multiply it by 12, run this, you are getting 300. Means so many operations you can do that. Okay, if you just divide it by 5, you also get 5. Now make sure you're writing return 0 after that. Okay, it is the rules, then you have to write it. Okay, run this. See, you are getting 5. Now it's for int. Okay, let's see for float values. If we are writing float and instead of 25 we're writing 2.5, but for the float values you have to write percentage f instead of percentage d. Please note it down. For int we're using percentage d. For float we're using percentage f. For character we are using percentage c. For long character means long integer, we are using percentage ld. Just remember this. Okay, let's go back to our main code. Now here we have written percentage f. Now let's run this. See, there is no error. If we use 25 instead of 2.5, then will the compiler give us some error? Pause the video and think about it. No, the compiler will not give the error. Instead, the compiler will convert this value into float values. Like if we are inserting 25, then it will display 25.0. Let's run this. See, the compiler has given 25.0 as output. So now you can understand how powerful this compiler is. Now let me insert some very big value. Very big value means suppose 2 crore or 50 crore or 25 crore. Okay, so let me insert some big value like 25 crore. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Now there is 25 crore. Okay, now we cannot use here int. Instead we have to use a long. Now that means we are inserting a long int into this variable. You can say why we cannot use only int for the big values. See, every data type has different range up to which you can use that data type. Like you can see this tutorial's point. You can see I will just drop this documentation link in the description below. You can check for the extra knowledge. Okay. See, for the long, yeah. For int, you cannot insert a big value after that. Okay. You cannot insert a big value after that. For big values, you can use long. For the big values, long will take care of that. Let's run this. Yes, 25 crore has printed. Now for the float values, for a big float values or big decimal number, we will use double like 0.250. For that we will use double. Now our next topic is character. Let's see. Character means suppose we are inserting a in this character. Okay, for that character we will use percentage C. Let's run this. A. Now, if you're using a word like Shudip, then the compiler will check for a character. Character means one letter. So, by hook or crook, it will print one letter only. So, pause the video and think which letter of Shudip it will print. Let me just show you the answer. Run this and see. P has printed. Okay. Now, if you write Sir, Shudip sir, then which letter it will print? It will print R, means the last letter of the word it will print. Okay, if you just write some sentence, if you just write some sentence now, then also it will show you the last letter of your sentence. For those who didn't know that, like this video and share this video as much as possible. Now the values can be changed. Let's see how you can do that. We have int b equals to 5. Okay. Now percentage d. Now it will print 5. Okay. Now if we change the value into 4 or 5 like here. Okay. Now b equals to 20. Right now it will print 20 because 20 is overridden into this variable. Okay, like if you are using b equals to 30, what will happen? It will also print 30. If you are let's remove this. Right now b equals to 5 and we want another variable like int c equals to 7. We are inserting c into a. Let me show you. Suppose we are writing int a equals to 20, int c equals to 30, and after that what we did, we just inserting c value into a. I already told you the value we are using, it will insert into this variable. So if we write a equals to c, then it will insert the value of c into this value of a. Okay, if we write d equals to c, then we are inserting the value of c into this value of d. Let's go to our code. Now if we print the value of a, it should be b. Okay, now if we print b, then what will print? It will print 7. Now another question you can ask, if we are using float and we are inserting the float value into this int, so then will this print this int value? Now let's see the float value, and the variable c has value is 2.6. Okay, now we are trying to insert the c value into this b value. Okay, then if we print percentage d and b, if we print this, let's remove this, will the compiler give error or it will modify and convert into int? Let's see. If you run this, here you can see 2. That means while inserting the value of c into the b, the value of c has already converted into this int value. If we are using percentage %f into this, will the compiler give some error? Yes, the compiler will give error because the value of b is integer, but you are inserting percentage %f. You cannot assign a float value into this integer. If you are using c, then it will run successfully. Okay, but if you are using b, then it will give some error. Like that, if you run this, see, there is no value. That means you have to check whether you are inserting a integer value or decimal value. If you are inserting a integer value, you have to write int. If you are using decimal value, you have to write float. If you are using percentage %d, that means the compiler will check whether the integer value was there or not. If you are using percentage %f, the compiler will check whether there is a float value is there or not. So in the next video, we will write a program to find the size of all the data types in byte. And subscribe my channel for more such videos. For now, have a great day. Bye bye.